And iCONECT already incorporates a number of well-known tools into its platform. You have great processing at the front end, and then your analytics is powered by Sentio and AFI.
Yep.
So what's next?
We're always looking for ways to partner with really solid tech. I mean, other companies laser focus on developing things like AI technology, and for us to start from the ground and do that just isn't a good use of our resources. So you are correct, we've partnered with a lot of other technologies to make sure that we can fit pieces of that EDRM model, including processing, which actually was built by one of our vendors. So it's really been battle tested, and we've now incorporated that right inside the platform. On the AI side, a couple of different engines. One of them manages really the blocking and tackling, the near dupe, the threading, the clustering, the conceptually find similar, the driving things like exemplar that I talked about earlier. And then the other one really manages CAL and gives us the ability to very quickly go in and with looking at a smaller group of documents, be able to then predict out across a larger scope of documents. The other thing that we're finding is the privacy issue becoming a real key, not only here in the UK, but also in the US. And I think redaction is becoming more and more important. We're actually using some unique entity extraction technology and PII identification to be able to identify XY pointers on documents, to be able to go in and do not only regular expression, but really intelligent AI, looking for things like phone numbers and fax numbers and health card numbers, things like that.
What's a fax?
Yeah, exactly. But believe me, there's a lot of documents out there. We actually have one of our demo documents where you can say, I want to find fax numbers, I don't want to find phone numbers. And it will in fact highlight the fax number and redact the fax number, but will not redact the phone number. So it has intelligence for looking at the words in and around it for context. And so that's a really neat piece. So there's a number of government agencies in the US who have a lot of redacting to do. And they've contacted us, and we're in the thick of a few different projects, very interesting projects right now. You'd be surprised at some of the stuff that we're redacting. But I think that's going to continue. People need to search for PII, people need to understand risk. And even when you go back to something like that M&A project, the Toshiba British Nuclear project, imagine if we had been able to identify the potential PII risk in that data set as a part of the transaction. It would have become a very, very valuable piece for folks on both sides from a negotiation perspective. So we're seeing the identification of PII, the ability to report on it, the ability to redact it as sort of a new area that we're pretty sure isn't going to decrease in size. It's only going to become more prominent.
One of the parts of the software that we really like is Selfserve.
Yeah.
How did you come up with that?
You know, it's interesting. More and more, every time I download an app on my phone, the amount of time I spend watching a video is 0. And the amount of time I spend sort of looking up how to do things on Google is 0. You just jump in. You start poking buttons, and people start to understand now. You know that the share icon sort of looks like that with 2 little dots on it, and you know that the gear icon is going to give you the admin controls. And I think those kinds of things are making it really comfortable for people to interact with the platform. So what we've gone and done is we've gone and added a whole self-serve layer to it, so that people will now be able to go in and create their own case, load their own documents, set their own parameters for things like duplication, identification of PII, what tagging folders that they want to have, and be able to do that in a very seamless way, to the point where our goal really is for people to require no training to be able to use the platform. We've also noticed that there are different people, different personas who interact. You know, you got the project manager who's quite comfortable setting things up and monitoring it, but they don't want to really be doing the actual review. And then you've got reviewers who want nothing to do with setting it up. They just want to go in and do their work. And so we have really tried to identify, both with security and also from an interface perspective on that self-serve area, the ability for an administrator to go and set it all up exactly the way you want it, and then for people to take advantage advantage of that setup, take advantage of templates, take advantage of production templates, and in a very self-serve way, now be able to go in and do it themselves. And that's the expectation people have out there now. Nobody downloads an app on their phone and wants to watch a 20-minute video. Sure. Nobody wants to go to a week and a half long training session. And there are still platforms out there where you have to do that. And we aim not to be that platform.
Another thing we really love is the ability to search audio and video.
Yeah.
How easy is it really in the real world?
It's pretty easy. That sort of came to us in that we had a client in New Jersey who said, hey, I don't have 2,000 documents. I have 2,000 two-hour videos. How can we get through this stuff? And so what we did, we actually built an HTML5 viewer right embedded in the platform with the ability for me to pause the video and make a note, and the note saves the timestamp. Mm-hmm. So what that meant was that in their scenario, they were looking for, it was something like the number of skids that were going in the back of a truck. And, it should have been 2, but sometimes it was 4. So they were able to go through all this video and go, oh, that's an incident. Oh, that's an incident. And very quickly go and siphon down what was a tremendous amount of video material to only the things that mattered. Since then, we've done a lot of development on the video side, including, to your point, the redaction of video and the redaction of audio, both audio calls, things like radio shows and maybe call logs, or audio from video, including audio from body cameras, which for the most part is a lot of grumbling and scraping and screaming and yelling. So getting all of that into audio, into an audio format, which is searchable, is key. And so there's a couple of different technologies that we actually integrate with. You talked about partners before, where you can identify a video or an audio file, you can send it out, it comes back, and what you then have is actually every word sitting there in front of you. And when you click on a word, one of the options that you have is to go and redact that word. And if you think about it, it's nothing more than the word with the timestamp around it. It starts at the 13-second mark and ends at the 13.5-second mark. So we go and find that in the audio and beep it out or blank it out so that it's empty. Or in the case where it's video, maybe during that time you want someone's face fuzzed out, or you want a license plate eliminated. So there's some very cool tech out there, a lot of it being used in the police services area. And we've got several very strong suppliers that we work with, partners that we work with to be able to make that work.
So what's next in 2020?
Next in 2020, I think we're releasing our iCONECT 10. This I think world premiere of that information. It's actually iCONECT.
You heard it here.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes.
iCONECT V10. We'll be showing that at Legal Tech. And we are on track to release that shortly after Legal Tech. Not going to be July. It's going to be probably within a month after Legal Tech. That is really going to be everything in one. There's a lot of frustration in the market right now where, well, it might be this much to host it, but processing's extra, AI's extra, CAL's extra, productions are extra, the caching of the images is extra, you're getting charged for the logs in the back end. And our goal really is to try to bundle all that together and make it really seamless for people, make it predictable. I think what we found, and certainly in talking to our clients, is that the users in a project are pretty stable. They might do this a little bit. The gigabytes in a project have the tendency to do that. And so what we're trying to do is come at the market in such a way that it's a top solid product. Everything is in it that you'd ever need to do. The redaction, the AI, the CAL, the blocking and tackling, analytics, clearly all of the search, graphing, charting, multi-language capability that you really need in a platform. But then beyond that, go and skin it with that self-serve piece that we just talked about, and then package that in such a way that it's got a reasonable cost of ownership and a super easy licensing model. So people can identify and predict what their e-discovery costs are going to be project upon project.